everyone, my name is Miss Sara from the Wixom Public Library and welcome to our craft video for our Snowman Tea Lights. So we are going to go over real quick the materials that you should have received from us at the library and what you're going to need at home in order to complete this craft. And then we'll get into how to make it. Okay, so in your bag that you came and got from the library, you should have 2 pieces of ribbon. One will be this pretty ivory color and one will be a fun pattern. It may not be the same as mine. You are going to have your tea light, obviously. You are also going to have 2 sparkly pom-poms to use as the earmuffs and a piece of pipe cleaner to cut for the band of the earmuffs. You are going to have a little baggie of different size sequins so that you can kind of decide how you want your own face to look on your snowman. You are going to have a little paintbrush and a paint cup for painting the nose. And then at home, you're going to need, because this is acrylic paint, make sure it's either on a surface that you can easily wipe up or that you have something like paper or a tablecloth to paint over so that you are careful with the paint because it will not come off of fabric. And then you're going to need glue and scissors. So you can use liquid glue. If you or a grown-up at home has a hot glue gun, you can use that, but you won't have to wait for drying in the middle. I'm going to be using one today just so we can go through the video. If you do use liquid glue, just wait in between each step for things to dry. Okay, let's get started. And as always, please feel free to show us your finished products. We love to see them and let us know if you have any questions. Okay, so first thing, we're gonna wanna take care of our nose so that it has time to dry, because no matter what type of glue you're gonna dry or you're using, you are always gonna need to wait for your paint to dry. So, you have plenty of orange. The only thing we're using the paint on is his little nose. And again, it's acrylic paint, so just be careful where you get it. And then it should dry pretty quickly. And then if you need to, like if you missed a spot or if it just looks kind of pale to you, once it dries, it's really easy to do another coat. Okay? So let's make sure I've got my whole nose covered. Okay. Yep, nice orange nose. Okay, now I'm going to put the lid back on my paint because I don't want it to get anywhere. And now we are done with our paint. So you can use it for something else or pitch it, but be careful with it. Okay, next, once your nose is dry or you've decided that you're gonna be careful enough, we can work on putting our face together. So for this face, I used some kind of big sequins because we wanted to make sure there were enough of all the sizes for the crafts to go home. So you should have small ones too, if you would like to use smaller ones. So I'm going to use smaller ones for this one, but we're just going to, if you want, you can set the sequins on your face first to make sure you like where they're placed, but otherwise, we are just going to get started putting the sequins as our kohl. So you can, if you want, you can use a marker, like a permanent marker, or other like beads or something you have too, but these are just to look like the kohl on the snowman. Okay, so you're just gonna decide where you want yours to be. You can do a happy face, you can do a frowny face, you can do a serious face. It is up to you and your snowman. Okay, so we're gonna do that. Okay, now that we've got our face arranged how we want it, it's glued on, it's dry, we can get started on the outside of our snowman. So you have a length of silver pipe cleaner that is going to be too long. So this is where the scissors come in. You are going to decide how big you want your earmuffs to be. So you could do really dramatic earmuffs, you could go smaller, but you're gonna decide how big you want your earmuffs to be. And then you're gonna trim off the excess of the pipe cleaner, the extra. So I'm gonna make sure before I do any gluing that this is where I want them. I think that is. Okay, so now I'm gonna use, and again, you can use liquid glue for this, but hot glue, I'm using hot glue just so it takes less time to dry for this video. Okay, put that on there. Some over here. Oops. Okay. So I'm just gonna hold that on until it dries. Okay. So then we can kind of, once it's on there and to dry, we can arrange them. So now we have our band. Now we've got our pom-poms. So we're just going to put glue over top the end of our pipe cleaner, and we're gonna push on the pom-poms. So if you're using liquid glue, you might wanna hold your pom-pom there for a little bit longer so that it stays on, and then put it on a flat surface so that it'll dry. Okay, we'll really load up the glue on here because the pom-poms are a little bit heavy. Well, heavy for glue. They're very light for you to carry. Okay. Okay, so now we've got our cute little earmuffs. So it's time to do our scarf. So you have a length of ribbon, and again, it might be a different pattern, and it's going to be too long because you're gonna get to do kind of what you want with it. But first things first, we're gonna do the bottom of the scarf where it's wrapping around its neck. So we're just gonna trim off a little bit from the end. Just kind of enough to put in between the earmuffs on the bottom of the snowman. This is just so it looks like his scarf is really attached to him or her. Okay, so we're just gonna put some glue on the bottom. And again, if you're using liquid glue, you're gonna wanna pause after this before you attach more of the scarf to make sure that nothing falls off. Okay. So now, with the rest of our ribbon, which again, might be too long, we're just gonna decide how we want our scarf to look, what we wanna do for this. So I tend to make my own scarves. I just make a knot around my neck. So I'm just going to make a little knot. And then, I'm gonna kind of arrange it how I think I want it to look. So let's pull our knot closed. I kind of think I'd want it hanging off his neck right here. So make sure it kind of looks how you want it to. And don't worry about trimming off the ends yet, because you want to make sure it's where you want it. So we're going to add a bunch of glue on this. Hot glue. We're going to put it on the bottom. So if we're using liquid glue, again, we're going to want to hold it here for a little bit. And you can always add more glue after it dries, like if it's pulling up on one side, or if you need more, that is okay. Oops, we got some stringies from the glue. That is the fun part about hot glue. It's all the little stringies that come off. Okay, so now my scarf is definitely a little too long, but you can see where he's got his scarf hanging off the bottom. So I think I kind of want my scarf to be about here. So I am just going to put more strings. Okay, I think maybe about here. Trim off the end. Trim off the end. And they don't have to be even, because your scarf, I have a hard time getting my own scarf to be really even. Okay, so now he's got a face, he's got a scarf, and he's got his cute little earmuffs. Okay, so the last thing you can do is if you want to hang this somewhere, you do have your piece of like white ivory ribbon. You can put it through your earmuffs and give it a nice tie. And then it would be good to hang somewhere. If you want your snowman just to sit somewhere, you don't have to use this ribbon. This is just for if you're gonna hang him from somewhere. And then don't forget, if you hang him or he's sitting somewhere, you can always turn on your tea light and have his nose glow and light up. But make sure you turn him off when you're done, because the batteries will not last forever. Okay? So that is our Snowman Tea Lights. We hope you enjoyed your craft, and let us know if you have any questions. Thanks for joining us.